It is September 28th. This is the section here where we kind of chewed out a hole. I put a backing on it, a piece of plywood, and bolted it on. Did a couple of measurements from the center lines of the bolts to figure out where the center was. 2.5 inches is what I needed, so I got a 2 7/16 is what I needed. 2.5 inches is what I used for the hole saw. And wherever I came up with for the actual center, I moved it 1/8 of an inch in to give me a little bit of clearance. And then when I started cutting, the plywood wasn't stiff enough to hold the bit. So I was down about 1/8 of an inch. So I ended up moving the plywood up a little bit and recutting. So I should have more than enough room. It should be. I should have 1/8 of an inch to 3/16 all the way around that edge. And we're going to check that when we put it back together. Just because it's here, here is the clutch, the lever part of the clutch. When you step on the clutch, it pushes this out, which pushes the middle of the spring in and mechanically disconnects the friction plate, or the clutch plate from the flywheel. Anyway, I just thought I'd take a shot of this before I put it back together. And it's a little video to show you the clearances. So down here we have, I'm expecting that that's actually the reverse switch. We have the bigger, more clearance shape here. Right now I'm actually worried about this little nub here. A bolt that we probably could have put in if I'd have taken this corner off, but it wouldn't have held anything. Going up and over the top, these bolts are not from the original motor, because all those went through the transmission and kind of threaded into the motor, so I replaced them. This one over here, I need to put something there to keep contamination from going into the motor, or into the transmission cavity there. There's a couple of holes that you can see straight through, which I was tempted to put something in behind, but it's really not going to work. I'll probably end up putting maybe a cork or a piece of rubber that I've cut to fit. And then on the bottom here, you can see that it covers nicely. There's no issue with having to plug anything. So this is actually the only thing I have to deal with. Well, here again, we're going to take this little rag out. And I don't have any lubricant on here. I'm just checking it to make sure it goes in. And it appears to go in, so I don't have anything in the way. Notice that I don't have a lot of space on this side. And when it's in, this thing is actually going to be very close to contacting. And this rubber ring is going to be close to contacting that edge. I guess we'll address it if we have to. I don't know that it's going to be real easy to address at all. It's not like it can bend anything, but it may in fact boil down to this motor is just too damn big to go into the car properly. Anyway, the problem that I ran into, this would be with the clearance, has been solved, which is awesome. Just gonna put this back in here so that nothing nasty gets in there. On this side, I'm not expecting to have any trouble, but I didn't expect to have trouble on the other side either. So let's see if she goes in. Okay, so normally I would just line up with the hammer and smack it, and it would pop in. So I think that's okay. The snap ring is on the end. Looks like it's right. This looks, well, it's flexible. I guess it should be okay. And this is what you don't do. While I was messing with things, trying to figure out what I could fit and what I couldn't, I ripped open the boot. So here's what the inside looks like, and it really shouldn't be open to the world. I've got new axles on order. They'll be here in a few days. So the idea is to get this guy back together, get him in the car with the old clutch, get the controller onto it, and find out how far I can push the torque until the clutch starts to smell, and at that point, when I put the new clutch in and the new axles, that same torque is as high as I'm going to go. Anyway, it does fit. It will slide in. That's what I needed to know. So this shroud that goes over this edge is the place where that rubber on the axle was expected to rub, and of course the exit here for the blower wasn't exactly in a good place for me. So I'm going to turn the rubber that came with it upside down so it blocks this off, and I'm going to cut a hole up here. Up here, the blower can essentially be mounted like this, straight down in. I'll modify the little piece of metal, at least I'll try, that goes in, and I will do a poor job of butchering this metal so that it comes through, and I will probably end up sealing it with plumber's tape. It's like a rubber compound, and it sticks to itself really well. Anyway, that's the plan. I really should do that before I put the motor and the transmission back in. So I'll be working on that for a little bit today, and show you how my progress goes. The problems that I have with that kind of stuff are just that I'm not a metal worker. I don't do that kind of stuff, so I'm really slow at it, and it looks like an amateur did it when I'm done, because I am an amateur. So there's the pattern trace. Here's how it's going to fit with the thing crawling down there. We got a little bit of clearance from the tabs up here, and I'm going to cut that out. This is going to slide through it, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit further around the edge. It's a little bit, if you notice here, it's a little bit too far to this side, so I might adjust that slightly when I'm cutting the hole. Might be out like this or something like that. So I might move the whole thing over a little bit, but that's the basic shape. And then when I've got that so that it mostly fits, then the rubber underneath, which is over here, the rubber which fits on here, which had up until now been blocking the air there and letting it through there. We're going to cut the hole in here as large as possible, letting most air through. And that's going to kind of be how it works. So this will have a hole in it. This will come through on this side, and then this will cover on the bottom and let air through on the bottom. And there'll be some rubber tape and anything but silicone to keep all this stuff together, and that's about it.